Hello folks, welcome to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and do press the bell icon to get latest updates. Do follow me on my LinkedIn account to have some professional discussion and professional stuff to be shared over there. In today's video we will be having demonstration on traceability, some unmanaged resources, surrogated stuff, and composite and foolproof demonstration of iLog Manager. So stay tuned till the end of the video and you can download the source code from my GitHub account, share their business, and you can get into iLog Manager and iDisposable stuff here. The complete implementation is provided over there GitHub account, and you can find the unit test cases demonstration on my UTP SOV in the handler collections. So let's quickly have insights into the traceability, that what is actually traceability meant for. Traceability often refers to the ability to track and link various aspects of software development, such as user stories, requirements, design, implementation, testing, support, and operations. And to be very specific, we can have some requirement traceability here. We can have requirement traceability tools, or the availability, and the products are also available in the market. User stories and work items are also related to the traceability, and specific resource and tasks that are assigned to the function specs being agreed with the end user, and the code changes are also part of traceability. Some code traceability, we have version control system, branching strategies, and link between the code and the requirements from the very start till the beginning, from the beginning till the end. We can also find traceability stuff in the code documentation, where we do some inline comments. XML documentation can also be a fun-like thing in our tools like Sandcastle to create API documentation very easily. We may also find traceability in automated testing tools, where unit test cases and integration tests are part of these traceability way forward. In today's cloud world, we can find CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment, where pipelines are built in Azure, DevOps, check-ins, and GitHub Actions. Automate the build, test, and deployment stages. Artifacts like management, store your build artifacts, ensure each version traces back to its source code and requirement is also a good instance of our traceability concept. In today's session, we will be more focused about issue tracking and bug handling, so that we can have some linking time tracked issues to the code. The TID is in the info message. Direct link between the issue and the code change. Resolved issues and associated code changes for future reference and audits are also part of traceability requirements. You may find these tools over the internet for some implementation of the traceability components. I will be demonstrating this traceability concept on our REST services that I was already hosting. The URL is available at my local machine, and we have done this demonstration in our previous video, and it's readily available. So I will be opening the project in my Visual Studio. That is pretty much best version of the Microsoft till date that I'm using. I have quickly marked this source code for you guys so that we can get into the actual hands-on code. So we will be implementing tangible resources, we will be having some unmanaged resource implementation, we will make some receipt diminish, we will make some response diminish, and the try catch block is also there with the finally block. We have to make some diminish in the exceptions handling, and we will finally make the response. All of the stuff is also discussed in our previous videos, and this host controller file is available here for some code alteration that I will be quickly building now. So let's quickly start our implementation. The first and foremost thing is my private string type of variable that I am going to implement as my setter getter method, and I will say that that's my directory path that I will need to make those files on my directory. The rest of the code I will just paste it. So that's my complete line of code that I have implemented here, so that I may confirm that the directory path is available. And we have also implemented that web config file code logging in our app settings, that we have directory over there. So let's getting back to our implementation stuff now. The next thing is my string variable that will also be with the private scope, and that string variable is meant to have some diminish message here. I will be calling it, and that will also be my getter setter method, so that we may get and set the information in it. And the last but not the least is private scope string transaction ID variable that I am also be instantiating here as a setter getter method only. So that's pretty much it for this region. For some fidelity insurance, I will be introducing an integer type variable locally to record my response. Initially I will be assigning it one value. So that's my fidelity region implementation. So let's get to our actual task that we are going to use here, and that will be my using statement, and I will be using ilog manager as trace manager, and I will be instantiating it over here, and with the initialization it will be returning me everything that is required, and I will be specifying the scope here, so that the scope is pretty much adjusted with it. So next thing is my make diminish, that I'm actually using that trace manager to log some information, and I'll be using my variable diminish to have some JSON convert utilization to serialize the object that is being received as a request object here, and that's serialization completed. And I will be assigning a transaction ID from my trace manager object, and I will be using file system log app log, and I will be trying to give it a value that is my directory path. And the method name I will be manually writing it, that my make call method. You can also make a variable in the scope defined earlier in the intangibles. So I will be just giving it the message to be written over there, and an output parameter is also required that we have instantiated already at local level. So that's pretty much it for TID response. We will be receiving the transaction ID, and if the response value is supposed to be 0, but if it is not 0, then what we are going to do is we are going to throw yes, a new exception, and we will say that we have some ilog manager error. So there is no error behind, so I will be closing this thing. The validation and the verify enumeration stuff and make response is already being implemented in this code, and I'm just utilizing it over here. So in order to change the code in previous concept, I will be just implementing the response diminish at this point of time. I will be just having some my diminish message instantiation here, and the JSON response JSON converter serialization from my Newton implementation will be here, and I will be just passing it my response object so that they can be transformed into the desired object that is being required by us. So the next thing that we are going to have is some make exception diminish that we have instantiated intentionally. So I will be just instantiating it with some JSON convert serialization object that we are expecting in my response. At this point of time, I will be expecting response So that's it for the response. So at first level we have received that TID, so we will be just moving with that TID. Anytime we need to utilize, we can utilize it. So now I will be just using trace manager object to log another message at this level that will be at my directory path that I have already provided it, and the method is make call. That will be actually localized message I am doing, and I will be having some out type response parameter that I have instantiated locally, and I will be setting it true as a response, and I will be passing my EX, and I will try to create that EX exception that is being provided here in my try catch block. And in finally block we are going to make a response in a way that the trace manager is recording everything that is being sent to the user at the file system level, and we are having that input at the directory path that we need, and we will be calling that make call method that is being utilized here in this instance, and diminish message is there, and we will be having output as a response and out parameter as a response, and the response is true for this being received. So there is only difference in this is that we are just using true in response parameters. So far so good. So let's quickly build our solution and find what happens now. So the code is successfully built, and I have added a debug point over here. The code is up and running, and I'm going to execute it now for you guys. So this is pretty much over there, and I will hit continue to just log some message over there. So this is the initial response that we have received, and I'm going to run it again, and I will try to bring something nasty stuff here so that we can get something demonstrated here, and I will say that it's going to be an error. So there's an unexpected failure over there, and we have got some update over there, and this is the whole complete information that is being responded. So we have this transaction ID that can be traced over the error, and this is the transaction ID that is for the successful case. Thank you for watching this video, and that's it for today's session demonstration. So we have tracked some issues, and we have some bug handling information, and it's pretty much easy to be used. Thank you for watching this video. Bye bye.